I was thinking the other day, you know what would have been worse than in this community, let's say of Castlegar, is if I was chosen as a firefighter for the training, because they would have figured out how to not self-sabotage their own culture by helping me find a more permanent place for my motorhome, which is beyond their ability to problem solve. You know what? I'll digress and come back to this in a second. I wanted to say, it's if we evaluate people during, let's say, the Anthropocene, the times we're living in, right? Increasingly harder, challenging times in various dimensional ways we see our lives, is if we evaluate mental illness by problem-solving skills, and we're honest with ourselves that our big brains are capable of some pretty amazing problem-solving. But a lot of the problem solving I see not being done is very simpleton type problem solving. So if we evaluate people for this, I tell you there's very little difference between the people that are in the high profile jobs, either in politics or business or, municipalities, service providers, people that work with mental health patients, for me seem a slight degree of variation from the people with mental illness, including if evaluated by their problem-solving skills. So, yeah, it's kind of weird sometimes just trying to save people like that when it seems my life is just observing the decline that my theory predicts. It's not a lot for me to look forward to enjoy, even though I still do enjoy a lot of things. So therefore, I do not suffer from depression. I suffer from species alienation because you are quite happy to suffer from HSD and all the derivatives that this mimetics disease has eventually caused in the devolving of your brains and your ability to use its higher functions and operate by human standards. Getting back to the firefighter thing now is, man, it's lucky there hasn't been more fires here yet. Let's say I'd been hired, and at the same time, still being poor, is I'm still treated the way I'm being treated. Like full price, banned from here, full price for the pool pass, to cool down. All this, it'd be very hard to keep motivated, because it'd be like, oh my God, I'm training to save these people's houses that are treating me like this. And their kids. And I, even within the structure of firefighting, would want to promote a more scientific approach, such as province-wide, eventually teaching controlled burns, for example. And also talking about poor long-term planning, such as hiring always people after the fact or at the last minute that will get themselves in serious danger, thinking that's what a hero firefighter has to do. Well, that's what a redneck following bad management would do. They'd be lost to their families, not through being a hero, but being a redneck dumbass, really, and that's not what I want to be. So I'd be seeing these patterns develop as I had been hired as a volunteer firefighter, if I had been. But it's easy to understand why I'm not, right? And it's not because I wouldn't have done a great job. It's because I make uncomfortable the people that are redneck dumbasses that are always many, many steps behind problem solving. So let's say I told somebody who's discriminating against me, at the college, or, that I would assume would want me to show up if there's a call for fire there. Or, doctors or dentists or politicians or city staff or whatever it is. And then I would say, well, it's not very nice you're treating me like this. I'm new to your community, sure. Although I don't agree to an unspoken rule to take crap because I'm new to your community. I'm from Earth. I'm not new to Earth. I've been here for more than half a century. But let's say I say, hey, I'm a firefighter. And then suddenly they start treating me a little bit better when I prove it. Not just say it. I'm pretty sure they'll want the proof. Do you know how sad that is? That it required me being their butler that they see they need in their lives to maintain their stability of the managing of the oncoming apocalypse, at their own pace. Okay, so we'll continue to somewhat make an effort to not violate Martin's human rights now, because he's a volunteer firefighter. Now, of course, I would be able to read these patterns. Now, how motivated would I be to stay in a community like this that is actually the norm? So yes, people, after half a dozen attempts in Canada, picking up these patterns and trying to be a volunteer firefighter, that still, Canada does not appreciate or value or provide the right supports for at a time where you know what's happening, right? So you silly homo communion.